Hey, my fellow patriots out there. It's great to be with you again this evening. And I'll tell you, this thing in the Bronx with Donald Trump, it's actually a very big deal. You know, when you think about it, this is an area that's constantly ignored. And they're always saying, and of course, we always hear constantly, Donald Trump's this racist. Let me tell you, if he's a racist, he is terrible at being a racist. He's like the worst racist in the history of the entire world. He goes right out. He treats everyone equally. He speaks the language of the common, everyday person like you and I do. He doesn't get up there and bullshit. It's about real facts. I love when he talked about bacon because you know what? When I go shopping, I look at bacon, and 95% of the time, I pass by it too. And I love bacon, but I don't want to pay like $12 for a little bit of bacon when I can really eat. So when I eat. So I would eat like $50 worth of bacon, all right? So like those types of things, that's what's relatable to real people. Not this bullshit these Dems talk about, not their climate change and all their other nonsense and men should be in women's sport, all that crazy shit that no one agrees with and that doesn't affect their everyday life either way. But right here, he gets right to it. And I love AOC out there and all of them. You know, Trump, there was going to be no one there. There was going to be no one. And there was anyone that was going to show up was going to be in protest. The people of the Bronx were going to hate him. Well, guess what? He went right in there, and it was terrific. And I was saying a long time ago on the last campaign, why wasn't he in Chicago and areas like that? Because he should have been, and I think he will be this time. I think he figured that out, and that's great. And you know what? These people deserve that also. They deserve it. They deserve candidates that care enough about them to come and speak directly to them and to hear their concerns. And finally, we're seeing that, and we're getting the... And well, I hate talking about race in these things because it's bullshit. But unfortunately, thanks to the liberals, they've made that let me try that again. They've made that the main focus of everything in life, right? So we're going to have to mention that a few times. But me, in my way of thinking, that doesn't matter because you've probably heard me say in the past, everyone wants the same thing. It doesn't matter what your skin color looks like, or if you got long hair like me and tattoos, or you got real short hair. It doesn't matter what you look like. It matters how our country does, how you do, how your children do. Do you feel safe? Can you afford the things you need? Let's check it out together. And I think there's some real interesting things here. And listen to the people that are from the Bronx. And by the way, I've heard different numbers. I've heard numbers as high as 100,000. I don't believe that from what I've seen. And I've seen, heard much lower numbers. The numbers coming out of the NYPD are around 10,000. I believe that's fairly accurate. That's inside the park and outside the park because not everyone can get in because New York limited it to 3,500. And I think they did press their way over that. But nevertheless, I think it was around 10,000 people. In the Bronx, that's pretty damn big. That is a big population of people who, by the way, will now go out and speak to their neighbors, their friends, and say, hey, we just heard this guy, and he's not who we're being told on CNN and MSNBC and all the liars. All right, so let's hear it straight from the people of the Bronx and straight from the Donald himself.
You used to vote Democrat. This year, that's going to change.
It is. I think that the cost of living has spiraled out of control. I don't see Biden doing anything about it. And also, there's an influx at the border that needs to be dealt with. And I think that Trump is the man to do it.
Anti-Trump people in my neighborhood are coming to vote for Donald Trump because they believe in economic success and they believe in lowering crime.
Last time around, you voted for Joe Biden. This time around, you're going to vote for Donald Trump. Why?
Absolutely, because Donald Trump already showed me that he understands our problems. He understands what the country needs. He has the heart to do it.
Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president. Thank you very much.
What was the crowd like? What kind of response did he get?
Well, certainly a bigger crowd than I think Democrats would like to see, particularly given this is one of the bluest counties in the entire country. Now, one of the things that was interesting to me is that the Trump campaign said that they were going to micro-target to get people from the community to come to this rally. I wasn't sure what to expect. I've gone to a lot of these rallies across the country, and there are often people who travel hundreds of miles to see Donald Trump, and they're not necessarily part of the community. However, one of the things that I found was that there were a lot of people here that were actually from the Bronx.
What else really stood out to you about the rally?
I will say this rally did look a lot like America. There was a lot of Asian voters there. There were a lot of Hispanic voters, a lot of Black voters there, which is not typical for a Trump rally that I go to when I'm in Wisconsin or Michigan. Yeah. So that's what was fascinating.
But it is a cross-section of New York.
Exactly, exactly. And that's specifically why Trump...
Now, why would that be when she's in Wisconsin? Because they're in an area where the demographics are different. So there's predominantly more white people there. So you see predominantly more white people. I mean, that's simple fucking math, right? It's common sense, okay? So when he went to the Bronx, you saw something different. And you'll always see that because they're lying when they tell you that he's a racist, and they're lying when they tell you that people of all these different ethnicities dislike him or hate him and whatnot. Some of them do, and with the ones that do, typically it's because they've been lied to and they believe that he hates them. It's not true. He would be the president for all, and the people need to get behind that. All right, and it's not about Donald Trump. All right, you know that bullshit like it's some cult. Like I worship Donald Trump. I certainly do not. I highly doubt you do. But I respect a person that will put up with the crap he has put up with to try and to get out there and run for the president of the United States had been just brutally beaten on unfairly in almost all cases. And he just keeps fighting. And I believe him when he says he's fighting for everyone and for the United States of America. I truly believe that. And if you believe for 1 minute that Donald Trump is acting purely out of self-interest and ego, go ahead and believe it. I don't believe that, but go ahead and believe it. Does it matter? Does it even matter? Because if he is working off of pure self-interest and ego, that means that the most important thing to him is to make America great again so he goes down in history as having done it. I don't give a damn when I go to a restaurant and a guy cooks me a great steak. Why he cooked me a great steak, I only care that he cooked me a great steak. And the reason I'm saying that is it's the same thing. You're hiring someone to do something for you, whether it's cooking you a steak or being the president of the United States of America. It's the same thing. You're hiring someone for a position. Now, one is arguably much more important, I suppose, but it's the same deal. So who do you want to hire? I want to hire the guy that's going to do a great job. I don't give a damn why he does a great job. I just care that he does a great job.
Trump was there yesterday. Those are key demographics that he sees are starting to break for him just a little bit. That door is opening for Hispanic voters to start voting for Trump in record numbers. They want to capitalize on that in this election. They think if they do, it'll spell success for them.
President Trump, One thing I want to say. One thing I want to say. They always gonna whisper your accomplishments and shout your failures. Trump gonna shout the wins for all of us. Make America great again.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Now you should know that's a couple of, in case you don't know, that's a couple of local rappers that are on their way up, moving up in the music industry right out of the Bronx. That's their neighborhood. That's their neighborhood, okay? How many people can they reach out to? How many people are they going to speak to? How many fans do they have in the neighborhood that saw that and said, hey, I thought Donald Trump was this terrible racist guy. What's going on? This is very important. There's a groundswell happening here. This is a real movement within their community. It's not this fake political crap that we normally see. This is real grassroots people that are living the experience in the Bronx and they're saying something's wrong. That's very important. And that can really grow.
I'm from New York, and this is. I always tell myself, I went to Wildwood on May 11th, and I said, Bronx? Oh yeah, I'm going.
That's awesome. And what does it mean to you that he showed up in a blue state, New York?
I feel like he has guts. He's a New New Yorker. I don't live too far from where he grew up. So I'm like, I have to go. I have to go show up with Donald Trump. He's in New York. Like, he has the guts.
I'm here to watch the Trump gathering rally here.
What do you think about him being here?
I think it's great. I think it's dope. From my generation, from what I know, this is the first time president has actually came to the hood. I know presidents have came to the Bronx before, but we're talking about Woodlawn, Riverdale. He has came to Morrisania, South Bronx, the hood. So I respect that.
I want to join you.
Now, what does that tell you? He didn't go to a safe zone. He went right where the people need him. And those people do need him. They need help there. AOC's completely destroyed the area. It was in decline, and then she has wiped out more jobs. The Amazon thing, we'll probably mention that later. It's devastating. These people are being abused. We all are. Doesn't matter where you live. We're all being beat on. But these people feel it first. And Donald Trump's there, and he's offering them help. And who else is? Is Biden there offering help? No, he's not. And this guy is great. This guy was a political figure. I don't know his whole background. I know he's a Democrat. He's a minister. This guy has a lot of influence in their community. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. The Dems are not happy about this.
In having the Bronx great again. Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican with a kinky hair and a broken English. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president. Thank you very much.
Policies, I like how
Donald Trump, the king racist, right? Does that make any sense?
he says it like it is, and and Biden gotta go. I'm sick of it.
And what would you say to a black person that says that we're not black because they're voting for Trump?
Well, then I guess I identify as a.
I don't know if any black people say it. The only person I heard say that was a white guy named Joe Biden.
A white man. I don't know. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm a mother. I care about the future of my child, and I care about policies over, rhetoric.
I'm going to jump in real quick. Back when I was in Delaware, I ran for governor in Delaware. Who cares? I'm not making any big deal of that. But there is something that I think stood out to me very strongly when I was out campaigning. A lot of things did, but one particular thing. I spoke at, and I don't know exactly what it was called. I spoke at so many things. I did so many debates, but a black women's caucus, voting caucus in Wilmington. And it was Ruth Ann Minner, Bill Lee, and myself in a debate. And they asked us various questions, obviously. And Ruth Ann went first on this question. They asked what she was going to do for the black community there. And she did what every Democrat does. She was going to give handout after handout after handout. And that's all she was doing. She was pandering, and she was going to give away free money, which, of course, is not very much money. It's just enough for you to just eke along and never get ahead. Bill Lee came up, and I liked Bill Lee. He's a good guy. I respected him. We always treated each other well, and I have nothing bad to say about it. But I will say this, and it's not a negative thing necessarily, but he was running as a Republican, and he gave the normal canned Republican type of answer. He sort of danced the question. He didn't pander the way Ruth Ann Minner did, but, he just sort of watched what he said, and I understand why he did that. I went third on that particular question, and we were on a stage seated behind this, I don't know, table, whatever. And I grabbed the mic, and I jumped off the stage, and I walked through the audience, and I said, I'm not going to just give away anything. I'm not here to this isn't Santa Claus. I don't know my exact words, by the way. If anybody has a transcript of it, you say, well, they're not the exact words. It's many years ago, okay? I don't know my exact words, but I know exactly what the context was. I wasn't giving away things. I want to give you opportunities for you and your children. I want your schools to be better. I want the crime off the streets. The same similar things that we're talking about now. So when I was done with it, I saw Bill Lee. He was sort of sweating like, oh boy, there goes Frank. I don't know how this is going to work out. Guess what? I got a standing ovation on it. After we were done the debate, because there was many more questions, but after we were done the debate, I walked out of the hall. many of the women that were in there, they were all black women. They came up to talk to me. They really were very interested in what I had to say. And they expressed all these things to me, and they were the same things that I thought they would say. We want our children safe. We want a fair shake. We want better jobs in our area. We want our children's education to be good. Look, it's really rather simple. If we take the race out of the equation, everyone wants the same thing. I keep saying it over and over again. And I know it might be like, why does this guy keep repeating the same thing? Because we have to, as a country, get to that point. If we don't get to that point, we are lost. We are a joke. Don't let them divide us into these little boxes. It's all bullshit. Everyone wants the same thing. Now, by the way, we heard on a different subject, I saw it moved over. I was speaking here. There were going to be these huge, protests against Donald Trump, and the protesters would outnumber the people, the supporters who were there. Well, here's what I found on some protesters, and it's not very impressive.
Say is that
that was their big protest. That didn't show me much. I thought he wasn't welcome in their neighborhood. AOC said he will not be welcomed there. He looked pretty damn welcome to me.
Absolutely must take our country back. Look at this crowd of people, a diverse group of people, but what ties us all together is our love of country. And we have so many people here that escaped from communist countries. I'm a descendant of slaves. My people fought so hard. They fought in World War II, even when they had no more rights. My father was a drill instructor in the United States Marine Corps during the Korean War era. I have to stand up for my country. This is a beautiful and great country, and we have to stand up and save it right now. Go for America.
Let's go.
We must. Yes.
Amen.
Hey, I came from Vietnam. I feel like I'm backed into it now. With Biden, we got to get rid of him. We can't turn into communism. Why is this happening? This is a scary country right now, and it used to be so great. Bring Trump back, please. Please.
Everything was super cheap on the Donald Trump, and now everything is super expensive. We can't even ride the MTA in peace.
Right.
Yeah, you just go to Roosevelt Avenue or the Roosevelt Hotel. You see immigrants everywhere. The subways are becoming super dangerous. I mean, it's just getting extensively ridiculous, and everybody's noticing, especially here in New York. You got the most crooked set of government here with Eric Adams, who swaps and goes back and forth on everything he does, and then he says, "Oh, we got to make things better for the migrants crisis going on over here." When you're the one who caused it, you're the one who called this a sanctuary city. You, Hochul, Letitia James, Alvin Braggs, all of you guys are scumbags, all of you. And what we saw under Trump was absolute success from every corner. The greatest numbers of black unemployment, the lowest rates of inflation. I mean, everything is going up right now. I got a big truck and my gas is going high as all hell, and that's under Biden. You had to see Pelosi the other day had to act like the Trump's presidency was going down. Meanwhile, the host said, "Yeah, but those." Though, right? And they have to kind of lie to the people to make us think that this is what it is. But it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until we all find out what the truth is. Go ahead and put them in jail. Put them in jail and watch the persecuted people on the ground rise up and vote for him even harder. We're going to get the black community, the Latino community. We got Los Dominicano over here. And we're going to show support until 2024 is over and Trump is back in that damn White House. Let's go.
Where are you from? The Bronx.
I've got to repeat it. Trump has got to be the worst racist ever. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. Everyone's figuring it out. All right? They can tell you that someone is anything. They can say anything they want. But it's not true. It's just not true. And the people are recognizing it. And again, I'm going to repeat it. Everyone wants the same thing. You just heard it from all of them. You're going to hear it from more people. Everyone. It doesn't matter what they look like. They want the same thing.
Actually,
I'm originally from the Bronx and from New York.
I'm from the Bronx.
Right here in the Bronx, New York. This is home, right here.
AOC says if you're not a Democrat, you don't belong here in the Bronx. Right. What do you say?
I disagree with that.
I don't think she should be here in the Bronx. I actually don't know any Democrats living in the Bronx.
Look, AOC, look at the tremendous support for Mr. Donald J. Trump. You need to tell her that she need to stay out the Bronx because look at all the people around. Everybody's here for Trump. I am a Democrat, and I belong here.
And who are you voting for?
Donald J. Trump.
What has AOC done for the Bronx?
She's done nothing for the Bronx. Nothing. Nothing's changed. Nothing's gotten any better.
Something's changed. It's gotten worse. When Amazon wanted to move one of the, I guess it was their distribution center, I'm not really sure, into that area, it would have created thousands and thousands of jobs for these people that are screaming they want jobs. And what'd she do? She killed it. She killed it. They went somewhere else. That's what she did for the people of the Bronx. People that needed employment and would have been thrilled to have that gainful employment. It was taken away by AOC. That's a disgrace.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Let her come to the Bronx and let her come among us people that struggle.
Joe Biden's policies has failed. It's failed us when in terms of the economy, in terms of his immigration, in terms of the environment. I mean, these policies only hurt black people. It doesn't help them.
Are you surprised to see this much support in the South Bronx? You grew up here, you know the people, you know your neighbors. I doubt everybody out here is a Trump fan, right?
Right. There are a lot of anti-Trump people in my neighborhood, but still, some of them believe and are coming to vote for Donald Trump because they believe in economic success and they believe in lowering crime.
But with the crime, the economy, and also immigration, what have you noticed with kind of the migrant crisis, specifically in New York alone? How has it impacted your neighborhood?
Well, for one, they're being transported to communities near me, to shelters near me, and that's upsetting. Why can't we help the homeless veterans instead, the homeless American veterans? Instead, we're helping.
It doesn't matter whether you're black.
Now that's very important. You know, I speak with everyone. You cannot imagine how many people I speak to of all different ideologies. Okay, and some of them are a little bleeding heart. And I understand it. Some of them are very sincere and they don't really realize exactly what's happening. They think there's just some poor people coming across the border and they're looking for work and whatnot, which is, by the way, not what that's, asylum is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be fleeing, danger. But economics is different. But nevertheless, listen, I can have sympathy for that too. I mean, I know if I was living where I'm living and here in Tucson and things weren't going well and they were doing really well in another area and I'm trying to raise my family, my children are older now, but if I had my little guys, yes, I would want to move wherever I could move to do better. But that's not what this is really about, okay? It's much deeper than that. And like he said, we don't have the resources for all these other people. They're coming here. There's good and there's bad in that crowd. And there's a lot of bad in that crowd because they're emptying their prisons and asylums. And that is a fact. That's not just rhetoric. That is truthful. All right. That happened years ago under Carter with the Cuban crisis. They don't send their best. Sure, there's good people in that crowd, but it only takes, how many bad guys does it take to do something heinous? God forbid, another 9/11 type situation or much worse. All right. And we can't even take care of our own veterans that live on the streets. What are we doing? Look, I would be more than happy if you're hungry to feed you and to feed your children, all right? I would be honored and thrilled to do that. But I'm going to feed my children first. That's just reality. And so are you, okay? I imagine you're the type of person that would share if you had an abundance with me or my family if we had nothing. If you saw my children hungry, I'm confident that you would feed them. But would you take the food off of your child's plate to put it on my child's plate? Well, no, you would not, because that would be insane. That is insane. That is not charity. That is insanity, all right? And that's what's happening to these people in these neighborhoods. The food is being taken off of their child's plate to be given to someone else. How can that be right? There's no justification for that. None.
black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are, it doesn't matter. We are all Americans, and we're going to pull together as Americans.
Well, I'll tell you, it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx and invite all his clowns.
Sorry, I messed up, and I'm not going to bother editing it out, I don't think it affected anything too badly. But I just wanted to pause for a quick question. This is staggeringly shocking for this woman. This is the same person that just said that black kids don't know what a computer is in the Bronx. She insulted them last week. Then she gave a half-ass sort of apology on it. And now she goes out and calls them all clowns. It's mind-blowing the way these Democrats, the high up in office Democrats, not your neighbor who might be a Democrat, but you should talk to them about these things. How these people in these high positions think of the people that they're supposed to be helping. They're too stupid to know what a computer is, and now she calls them clowns.
Well, I'll tell you, it won't make a difference at all, Jake, and that is for Donald Trump to be the ringleader of and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx and invite all his clowns to a place like the Bronx.
Right.
New York will never, ever support Donald Trump for president. We have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
We're looking for Donald Trump to...
No matter how disgraceful that computer statement is, I can't help but just burst out laughing because of the pure insanity of it. Just that anyone would say that. That anyone would say that is shocking. This woman is great.
Deliver for our communities to make the major investments. Let's replace the drugs and the guns with hammers and nails and drills and steel workers. Use our young men that are involved in the criminal justice system to rebuild the housing. Use them, pay them decent salary so they can afford to take care of their children and their family and help lift us up out of poverty. Keep your welfare. We don't want your welfare. We want jobs. Create jobs. Decent paying jobs. Educational opportunities.
How many of these people running for office or that are in office right now have ever created even a single job in their life? Even one job. How many's Donald Trump created? Thousands and thousands. Right there in New York also. Kind of an interesting thing when you think about it, isn't it?
Initiatives that'll help our young men avoid incarceration. Stop letting them go back in the street to commit more crime. Put real initiatives in place that will save their lives. Sometimes jail, sometimes people are not arrested, they're rescued. So when we continuously have this revolving door, we're actually setting our young men and women up to be killed, to kill themselves or someone else.
The lifelong Bronx red.
But you're supposed to believe that if someone's skin color is darker than yours, they don't want any police in their neighborhood. They don't want any law enforcement at all. They don't want anybody to go to jail. They just want a free-for-all freak show where you can do anything you want, where drug dealers can run wild shooting at each other and hit 4- and 5-year-old babies that are walking with their parents down the street or in their backyard at a small birthday party, which we've seen so many times. That's what you're supposed to believe. Of course, they want their neighborhoods to be safe. They don't want them crime-ridden. Who the hell would want that? No one wants that. It's sure as shit not based on the color of your skin.
President and former Democrat. And he joins me now. John Garland, what was it like out there today?
Oh, it was exciting. It was The entire atmosphere was electrifying.
Look at that crowd in the Bronx. And the crowd is actually much bigger than that because, again, they only let so many in. New York limited the permit to 3,500 people. I do think slightly more than that got in because some people were just jumping the fences and whatnot to get up there, which I'd have done if I was there. But the lines and the people outside were incredible. It was a tremendous turnout, especially for that area. And here's something interesting. I want you to think about this. Can we flip New York? I was speaking with my brother Tatum earlier about that. He said there's no way New York won't get flipped, but he's going to do much better there than any Republicans done in a long time, but it won't get flipped. He didn't believe it's possible. I have a lot of respect for my brother Tatum. He's very politically astute, and he may be right. I'll say this. I'm not going to say we're going to flip New York. I'm going to say it's possible. I believe it is possible. And I have reasons for that. And this is a very different situation than we've ever seen in the past. And first of all, Donald Trump's going there and he's showing up. So that's very important right off the bat. Secondly, Joe Biden got 87% of the vote in the Bronx in the last election. Pretty big number. But what you have to realize is that, I'm going to try to remember the number, it was 27%. So he got 87% of the vote, but only 27% of the people bothered to vote. So it's an incredibly low turnout, a 27% turnout, and he got 87% of that 27%. I hope you're following me here, okay? So if he gets 87% of only a 27% turnout, what could we see this time? We know his 87% is going way down. That's dropping very quickly. Everything indicates that, all right? But I think something else is going to happen. I think the 27% of people that bother to come out and vote is going to go way up. And it's going to go up because they're fed up. They can't take it anymore. They know there has to be a change. In the past, they felt like it didn't matter. No one cares about us. Why vote? That's why the low voter turnout. But now they see a man that they think does care about them. They think someone may help us. Someone may not provide for us. That's the wrong word because they're not asking anyone to provide opportunity. That's where I want to go. Provide opportunity for them. Well, that's a reason to get up and go vote. So I think we're seeing a big shift. So the numbers aren't all, it's usually all comes down to, these polls, these numbers. The numbers aren't going to tell the whole story this time. I think we could see a flip. If he flips it, if he flips the Bronx, that will have an effect throughout the whole country. That will affect Chicago. That will affect everywhere. Everyone's going to see this happening. Everyone's going to be talking about this. This could be a really, really big deal. Really amazing. And a beautiful thing.
There were people from all over the Bronx, black, white, Hispanic. There was Asians. There was Jews. There were it was just a smorgasbord of basically patriots.
And why was everybody there today? Was it they're sick of Joe Biden, they love Trump, the economy? How would you describe it?
I would describe it as people came out here to show that they were fed up. They're fed up with systemic racism. They're fed up with being systemically excluded. And it's not just minorities. It's about the American people,
And I think that's interesting what he said. Systemic racism. Again, I don't like playing into this racism bullshit. I really don't. But let's just real quick. What's more racist than saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black? What's more racist than saying, I don't want my children to grow up in a racial jungle? These are Joe Biden's statements. What's more racist than Hochul saying there's black kids in the computer, or black kids in the Bronx, rather, I misspoke, black kids in the Bronx that don't know what a computer is. They don't even know what the word computer means. There's racism in politics. It's all coming from the left. Donald Trump didn't say anything like that. Donald Trump said, I want to lift everyone up equally. And that's what we should be doing, not focusing on these petty differences.
And we make up a whole, we're a whole spectrum of different people, you know?
Was there something that Donald Trump said tonight that really hit home for everybody and you?
Well, there wasn't anything that was in particular that moved me. The whole thing as a whole, it was the sum of its parts. So we had, there were people who were expressing themselves in a way like we're fed up. People from the Bronx is fed up. People from New York is fed up. And we want something different. We want change. And Donald Trump has promised to bring change. And he's proven that he can do that. You know, this isn't somebody who's just stepping into the political arena as he was in 2016. Like, now he's experienced. He's went through what he's had to go through. The man's skin is thick as steel. You know, so we're here for him because he's here for us.
So you're saying you're looking for hope and change. And Donald Trump's that guy. Yes. Hope and change.
Yeah, yes.
All right. Mr. Garland, thanks so much for joining Jesse Waters Prime Time. Sounds like there's still a party going on in the background. Go enjoy yourself, all right?
Oh, yeah. There's still people that's still coming in. There's people nobody's really leaving. People are just congregating and sharing ideas, and everybody was glad to be here. It was a great event.
You used to vote.
How terrifying do you think that is to these liberals that don't give a damn about the people in the Bronx? That these people went and saw this speech, got to know the man a little bit, and now they're congregating and speaking. You have leaders within the community, music leaders with these rap artists that came up. You have this pastor or minister, whatever you call it, whatever it is, I guess it's a minister that came up. How many people do you think they're going to reach in their community? And now all of the just regular folks out there in the neighborhood are talking. They're talking to one another. They're exchanging ideas. When someone says, oh, but Trump said this, the other one goes, no, he didn't. No, he did not say that. And then they have a conversation. What a difference that can make. Not only a difference in the Bronx, but a difference throughout the nation. Perhaps even a difference between the way we all see one another. When you realize, again, what I keep saying, everyone wants the same damn thing. I think this was history in the making. Clearly it was. I mean, that's a fact. It's a big piece of history. And I think it's going to have a huge impact, not just on this election. And I certainly hope it does in this election. We've got to get this lunatic out of office. But and he's worse than a lunatic. He's just a bad person. But I really believe we're seeing a shift in the world right now. A very, very positive shift. You know, Biden ran, he was going to unify people and bring them back together and all that bullshit. Just like Obama divided, and he really did. He really divided the people. It was terrible. And Biden's just continued that. Trump is uniting the people. Trump is doing everything he can to unite the people of all creeds, colors. That's all BS, all right? He's uniting the United States of America's people. We the people. I think it's just, to me, I don't watch sports at all. Never had any interest. I know some of you love it, and that's great. Events like this, to me, these are my Super Bowls, all right? I love this stuff. And listen, I'll tell you, I find this inspiring. I hope it inspires you. I know a lot of people are down right now, whether it be just you feel demoralized and financially beaten up and used. There is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, all right? I don't know. What else can I say? I feel good about things. I feel good about this. I hope you do. And I love you all. I'll see you all soon. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. Twisted is out.